welcome to the Q30 Weekly Digest. I'm Stephanie Fasano with your national headlines. President Obama addressed the nation Wednesday night in regards to the terrorist threat known as ISIS. President Obama said the U.S. is planning airstrikes in Syria and Iraq to eliminate the Sunni jihadists. However, President Obama reassured Americans that no troops would be sent into combat in the Middle East at this time. Moving on to our next story on the most recent updates of the Ray Rice case. On Wednesday, a New Jersey law enforcement official told the Associated Press that the leaked elevator footage of Rice knocking out his then-fiancée had been delivered to the NFL League office in April. The league has announced it will launch an investigation into the handling of the leaked footage. Rice has since been released by the Baltimore Ravens and suspended indefinitely by the NFL. And next, the protests continue in Ferguson, Missouri. Police arrested dozens of demonstrators Wednesday to prevent them from shutting down Interstate 70. Those who weren't taken into custody, moved on to rally in the streets of Ferguson calling for justice for Michael Brown. Multiple arrests were made, most for unlawful assembly. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, some demonstrators chucked rocks, bricks, concrete glass, and plastic bottles at officers. A county prosecutor is presenting the case to a grand jury, but protesters say they have no confidence the case will be handled fairly by the county. It's been 13 years since 9/11, and on the anniversary of the tragedy, QU students came together to remember those that were lost. News Team 30 reporter Elijah Westbrook has more on the memorial and how its impact is still strong today.
It's almost hard to believe that it has been exactly 13 years from today when our nation was under attack by terrorists. On September 11, 2001, 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. Then, approximately 1 hour later, a plane hit the Pentagon. And just when you thought it was over, a plane crashed into Stony Creek Township, Pennsylvania.
We want to go live right now and show you a picture of the World Trade Center.
Needless to say, this was a day to remember for all Americans. Here at Quinnipiac University, a memorial service was held this morning at approximately 8:45, just around the time when the first plane hit the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Students and faculty came out to support those who have lost their lives during that tragic day.
It's a great thing that the community has been doing because it shows awareness, it shows that we do care, and it shows that they are our people and those are our friends, our family, and that we do care about them a lot.
Although students we spoke to say that they were not directly affected by the 9/11 attacks, they are all here in support of each other and those that have lost.
This day, while I wasn't affected with anyone in New York City, means a lot. Makes me think about them.
The memorial service ended with the raising of the American flag at half-staff in front of the Student Center. Many watched in silence as they remembered those who have lost their lives on this tragic day. Here at Quinnipiac University, Elijah Westbrook, Q30 News.
A teenage killer who escaped prison overnight is back behind bars in Ohio. 19-year-old TJ Lane was captured hours after a daring prison break last night. He is serving 3 life terms for the 2012 murders of 3 students at Chardon High School. Lane broke out of Allen Oakwood Correctional Center in Lima along with 2 other inmates. The facility where Lane is being held is not a maximum security prison. The warden defended the prison and emphasized Lane's recapture. That's your national headlines for the week. We're now going to toss it over to Nicole Fessler, who has the latest international headlines.
Thanks, Stephanie. Japan's Nuclear Regulatory Authority approved the idea to restart a pair of nuclear reactors in southern Hiroshima on Wednesday. Residents remain skeptical about the new evacuation plans because they fear that an accident could occur, such as the one that happened in Fukushima back in 2011. If convinced, Kyushu Electric can turn the power switch on as early as next winter. And a father is seeking closure in one of his sons' Houdini handcuffed suicide. Victor White III died in a Louisiana hospital after being handcuffed and eventually shooting himself in his back in a police car. Family attorney Carol Powell says White committing suicide is preposterous. The DA received the case but is waiting on the federal court to proceed. White's father is in shock about the suicide ruling, saying he has a 1-year-old daughter and much to live for. A U.S. Air Marshal was injected with a syringe containing an unknown substance. The attack took place in Lagos, Nigeria airport on Sunday. The FBI stated that the victim did not exhibit any signs of illness during the flight and was transported to a hospital upon landing for further testing. The statement said, adding, "None of the testing conducted has indicated a danger to other passengers. Investigators are looking into if he was targeted because he's American." South African athlete Oscar Pistorius is found guilty of culpable homicide over the killing of his girlfriend Riva Steinkamp in 2013. The judge says Pistorius cannot be found guilty of killing his girlfriend because he genuinely thought the person was an intruder. He also faces 3 weapon charges. The judge acknowledged Thursday that Mr. Pistorius was practically afraid of crime and that his fear wasn't inexcusable for the act. And that's your latest international headlines. I'm Nicole Fessler, and back to you, Stephanie.
And that's the Q30 News Weekly Digest. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Q30 News for the latest news in and around campus. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.